Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for the third official episode of the Benfranks podcast. I hope you guys are comfortable. I hope you guys are well ready to listen to the third official episode, because today we've got a whole lot of exciting stuff for you to talk about. So we're going to dive in deep, and without further ado, let's get right into it.
Welcome to the Benfranks podcast.
No,
Nutrition,
I can't believe it.
cannabis,
Say it isn't so.
exercise science, vegan. The Benfranks podcast. With your host, Planet Hundo.
Okay, thank you. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to the episode. I'd like you all to just sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode, because today we're going to be talking about some interesting concepts, okay? We're going to be touching a little bit on the idea of quantum mechanics and the idea that people can do things such as read your mind or remote view or do this, do that, whatever woo-woo thing you want to make up. But basically, there's a whole lot of different claims out there of different things that people do that are pretty hard to believe. But when you get into the science of it all, and you start to get into the science of the theory of relativity and quantum mechanics and what it all means and non-locality, it starts to get pretty interesting. And if you were to go full deep, you're going to need probably, multiple hours to go into such a topic. But for today's episode, we're just going to touch very lightly, and we're going to touch on the surface. So the purpose of today's episode is basically to enlighten your mind and enlighten your way of thinking, and hopefully spark a new pattern of being able to think through your daily life. And this applies to you because day in and day out, we face our daily obstacles of perception. And if you watched last episode, if you didn't, make sure you watch that now, because the link will be in the description, so go check that out now. What I uploaded was all about confidence, and it's all about changing your perspective. And the key to life is all about perspectivizing and changing your perspective to where you need it to be. That way you can ultimately get to where you need to be. And a lot of these things, a lot of these concepts like the power, the law of attraction, everything is energy. These are all very scientific concepts at the same time, turned into concepts that sound like they're not scientific. There's a lot of people out there that think that the law of attraction has no scientific basis and that it's actually a cult style believing. I'm not kidding you. I've heard this before. There's a video by an upcoming YouTuber named Progress, I believe, or Progress. But either way, he uploads a video one time. I'm watching it, and he talks about how the history of the law of attraction came from a cult and its cult mindset. But the law of attraction is just supported by basic science and Einstein's theory of relativity, and that everything is energy. So before we get too deep in today's episode, I'd like to go ahead and give a thank you to our sponsors. Our sponsor of the day is Sugar Fueled, sugarfueled.com. Go ahead and check it out. It's great. Everything you need to know about it is on there, and we're going to go ahead and continue with this podcast. The song of the day is actually a song of the day doubling as a video of the day. If you guys have not seen this video yet, this is a video of me making THC distillate down in a laboratory that I work in Denver, Colorado. I actually make CO2 extracts for Willie Reserve, which is a company who's owned by Willie Nelson himself. This is a little clip that I added on my Instagram. If you guys aren't following me, make sure you are following me there now on Instagram at Planet Hundo. I will put the links in the description if you guys are not following me, so that you can keep updated on little videos and clips like this. Heather's telling me, no way, don't you dare tell people anything about your personal life, because all of a sudden that's going to ruin your life. Sorry, I disagree. What the fuck does it matter if anybody knows where I work? Like, what? So weird why she thinks that's a big deal. Anyways, let's continue with this podcast, and let's continue with the clip of the day. I'd like to welcome the clip of the day, which is Hondo making THC distillate in the lab with the song Blueberry Face by Hundo. Take it away.
Hundo ain't losing the race, I'ma gun it up. The exact kind of shit you ain't fucking up. Lock with the cream and the green and the gas. Evaporate the fraction, condense it on the glass. You ain't coming with the oil, you just coming with the sass. Low class in the back with it done, sad bastard. Fucking up the flows, I'ma fuck 'em up faster. Vocabulary blaster, bad and I am the master. Spent so much time beside the glass, now I am a pastor. Jungle boy, the motherfucking alligator wrestler. Everybody sleeping on a god like a lost religion. Ain't nobody wanna wait, kinda like the thoughts forbidden. Going against the grain, now that is a fucking hard decision. All these other artists realize they're in the wrong division.
All right, welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for listening to that song of the day. That is Blueberry Face by Hundo. That is officially released on SoundCloud, and that is the only place. So go to soundcloud.com/Hundo with a 0 instead of an O at the end. And you will be able to listen to that song as many times as you like. If you would like to see the music video will be coming out for that soon and dropped on YouTube. Still working on those scenes behind the scenes. So, without further ado, let's get into this short little episode today on quantum mechanics. And basically, if you don't know anything about quantum mechanics, let me try and break it down as simply as I can for the level of understanding that someone like myself has, which is not very much. But basically, the theory of relativity by Einstein basically states that nothing can physically move faster than light. Light is the maximum speed in which anything physical can move. It also states that everything is local, and to communicate must be somewhat local. So basically, once enough spatial distance is created between two objects, they are unable to communicate and unable to have contact with each other due to the space in between them. And the theory of quantum mechanics basically doesn't necessarily, it sounds like it's stating the opposite, but the thing that's confusing about quantum mechanics is it can kind of work hand in hand with the theory of relativity at the same time. So, quantum mechanics is basically saying non-locality. Locality is not a thing. And the truth is, things can communicate with each other no matter the distance between them. And there's something called quantum entanglement. And that is where two particles become entangled somehow. How do they become entangled? I'm not quite sure. I'm going to have to dive in, do a little bit more research on some of these topics, and we're going to have to go a little bit deeper into to a different podcast and to a different episode and get real deep with this. But basically, quantum entanglement, somehow two particles can become entangled. And what this means is, for whatever reason, they're able to connect with each other like Bluetooth from across the world, and I'm pretty sure even from across the galaxy. So you might be thinking, Hundo, how does this apply to my life? How does this apply to my daily life? Please tell me, because you're leaving me hanging here. Well, let me tell you. Because the way that you perceive life is very constructed by society. It's constructed by your environment that you've had around you since you were born. It's constructed by all of your experiences. And it's partially true and partially false. And changing your perspective could help assist you in the portion of your reality that you believe that is actually false. So the portion of your reality that you believe that is true may be things like you're breathing, you exist, you are here. Very simple concepts that we can agree on for the most part. The part that you might be false about is your understanding of physical matter itself and the compartmentalization of all the physical matter around you, and the way that your brain tells yourself that everything around you is completely and entirely different. It's made up of different things. It acts under different laws, which is true and untrue. Because we live on a level that's macro. Everything that we look at, everything that we touch, everything that we are able to sense and read is on a much larger scale comparatively to things like subatomic particles or on the subatomic level. And so subatomic particles and basically the smallest pieces and bits that make up all matter around us, things like the nucleus, a proton, an electron, an atom, a molecule, all these little things. I can't exactly remember which one's the smallest. I believe the atom. is the smallest, and atoms make up molecules, or vice versa. I'm not exactly sure on that. Don't quote me on that. That's not what's important. What is important is that we view these things, even these small particles, as solid, small particles, but they're not solid at all, because we have found once you continue to zoom in on the picture, what you find is that they are hollow, like basketballs, down to the very smallest thing that we have, which is an atom or the nucleus of an atom. It's like a basketball. It's filled with air. So there is no such thing as a solid. And that right there is a concept that you probably should take a couple minutes to wrap your brain around and let that soak in. There are no such things as solids. So we're walking around Earth, bumping into this, bumping into that, and it feels like things are solid, but in reality, it's two energy force fields colliding with each other and repelling off of each other, which is bizarre. And the reason that we don't understand a lot of these things on Earth, like psychics and, regardless of what's true and what's not true, because I know everything is not true. I'm not going to sit here and say all the woo-woo stuff is just true, but there are certain things that are true. And I believe that things like, let's start with things like paranormal, the ghosts, energy that people feel, extraterrestrial, aliens, psychics, remote viewing, which is basically where someone can close their eyes and view anywhere on the planet. Telepathy. I don't know if I would wrangle that one into there, but basically these concepts I believe are possible through understanding quantum mechanics and through understanding that there are no such thing as solids and that everything is an energy. Not only is everything an energy, but it's vibrating. That's another concept that's very hard to wrap your head around, but the truth is when you continue to zoom in and look, things are vibrating and nothing is still. So your eyes give you this illusion that everything that you are looking at is completely still. But if you're able to analyze what you are looking at for what it is really doing on a subatomic level, everything would look blurry because of how it is vibrating. So if everything is energy, everything is frequency, everything is just vibrating around us, regardless of how solid it feels, that is why the energy and the reality that we live in the universe can be manipulated so well outside of what we know to be the theory of relativity and physics and logic. So very, very difficult concepts. I want to send you on your way with a little bit of homework from this podcast, okay? I'm going to do a little bit of my own research, but I want you to do some light research yourself on quantum mechanics. I want you to watch maybe a couple different movies, What the Bleep Do We Know and The Secret. Those are some pretty good movies on quantum mechanics, and you could also do some YouTube videos. There's some pretty good 10 to 15 minute YouTube videos on YouTube of different people that talk about quantum mechanics. So I'd like you guys to study this subject, and I want you to realize that if these concepts are in fact true, you can make things like the law of attraction work for you, because you can visualize and create your own universe within your head. And it's not as simple as a video game where you think it and all of a sudden is immediately real. But the more you think something, the more you manifest and can create it into existence. And I have been trying to apply this with my own life, and it is not easy. I will say it is not easy, but that is never the reason that you should give up on something. So, regardless of if it's hard or not, we need to try to hone in on this science and understand quantum mechanics so that way all of us can visualize our environment and our reality in the way that we would like. That sounds kind of trippy, like this is an episode of Star Trek or some shit. But, this has been an episode of Benfranks Podcast, guys. We're going to keep this quick and nice and shallow. We won't get into things too deep, but I want to appreciate everybody for coming out today. All the listeners, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, make sure you go ahead and give this a like and hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. All the links that you guys need will be down in the description. If you're listening to this on iTunes and Spotify, there will be no visual. This will be audio only, but I appreciate everybody who came out and checked this episode out. We got more episodes to come. Episode 4 is coming up next. I appreciate you guys. This has been the Benfranks Podcast. I'll talk to you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.
To their face. You said we have a reason to live, have a reason to give our lives. Yeah, it's to bring joy to others, to